Hi guys, welcome back to the Back to Basics 2 series where my wonderful fiance Michael is teaching me how to trade. Apparently this time we're doing a test, so
Test number 2.
we'll see how she goes.
So, if you're new here and this is the first one you're seeing, this episode 10, there's a playlist on both of our channels. Go check those out. Shameless plug time. Check us out. If you're seeing us in one place, check us out in the other, and vice versa. So we're doing a test. So I'm going to give you a while to read this question here.
Oh, define support. Okay.
I was going to read it to you. You're jumping ahead of yourself.
I didn't know there was a question.
I had to delete something there. But that is, you jumped ahead. So that's question 1. So if I say this stock is nearing support, what do I mean?
It means where people are going to rally behind it. Buy it.
Kind of.
Buy it.
But how do I know that it's potentially support? Again, so first thing before Brian Shannon comments, because he gets mad at me, but it's never support. You never know it's support until after. So it's potential support. But how would I look at a chart and say, I think this is an area of potentially could act as support?
So if the chart's going along and it's hitting a certain point, and then like if it's falling and then it bounces back up because people were there to buy it, and then if it gets to a certain point, that the top of it is resistance.
It is to find support. You're going way ahead. So you're looking at a chart. How do you know that this area maybe wins? One that acts as support.
Because it's an area, a price maybe that has triggered some buying action repeatedly.
Good. That's right. Okay, so on this chart, where would you draw support? First, I'll point out there is no right answer, right? People will do this a little bit differently depending on certain things. This is the art part of the art and science with trading. But where would you draw a support line?
Like kind of where that gray line is?
Just point it with your finger and I'll do it with the line over here.
There, because it hits there and there.
So right over that line there like that?
Yeah, ish. Maybe a little bit further down.
A little bit further down.
Just a smidgen.
So like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so on this whole test, what I did is I went through and I drew my own to see how close you would get to what I did.
Okay.
That's why you look forward. If you see her looking over there, she's cheating. Just by the way, that's where I drew
50 lashings.
That's where I drew my support line.
Ooh.
So that was pretty good, right? So you'll notice some things, right? One, some people will include the little wicks on the candle. Some people will do a best fit. You'll notice that even over here, it pierced quite a bit below. But you see how that's a green candle that went below? Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Like what happened on that day that makes me want to ignore that day and not move my line below that?
Well, it closed above it.
Right. So that's, some people will say you want to include all the wicks and all of this. Some people say you just want to include the closing prices. Again, this is the art and the art of the science. You could have, in theory, drawn one way down here, right? You could have said, well, I think support's way down there because that's the low of where I'm watching. Some people, they want to ignore those chart bits, so that would be another valid line right there.
What about even further up to like there?
Yeah, well,
just
because the support's broken doesn't mean that it's gone forever, but that could be a valid one depending, right? Again, there's no you're wrong. There's just how you do it. Now, if you said, right, there's my support or something, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because there's really nothing there. But, where you move them isn't. And in the long run,
they can see what you're clicking to.
Well, they can see those lines.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's Microsoft.
Okay.
Same thing.
Are you cheating again by giving it to me on that red line?
It's not, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's a line that the software automatically draws in for you.
Okay.
But if you think it's a long
it
line,
automatically draws in the trend line?
no, it's
the sport line?
It's a bit of a coincidence, but yeah. But you're saying right there.
Ish, yeah.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's what I did. Right?
Oh, I'm 2 for 2.
It's 2 for 2.
Does that mean we're gonna
bonus?
Oh, okay, here we go.
Hold on. Okay. They stopped there again.
Sorry.
You guys at home count every time she's at least attempted to cheat. I put it on my iPad so it would be very small and obscure.
I didn't cheat.
So you're not looking just for support here.
Okay.
There's a phenomenon that we talked about before about after support is broken, generally something else happens to it. And if you can spot where that is on this chart, I'll be very impressed. But this is a bonus question, so it won't count against your final score. So I want you to describe the phenomenon and where it is.
The phenomenon.
So we always talked about this. Prior support will generally act as future X.
So I think kind of by the green line there, the red line again, and then it bounced there, and then it just kept going. It broke support up here. No, wait. Support would be the other way. So it broke support here.
Right, and when support's broken, what's the phenomenon why do we usually watch support that's been broken before?
That it's been broken before? What do you mean?
So we talked about when support as an area is broken.
Yeah.
It sometimes transforms into... You can give up if you want. You just miss your bonus point. It wasn't like a major topic, but we did talk about it.
Because that line will then become resistance.
Right. So, where do you think that is?
Right where that red line is, over here.
Close.
Frig.
So the red line is a little bit too low.
Yeah, so the green line is where I said initially.
Right. And then this is what I drew in. Right? So I showed that prior support right here may become, and I did this yesterday. If we look at Facebook today, it's same in the same area. So then the question becomes, could you make a trading plan based off of this? Right? You know that this is a point, and we talked about why this happens, is it just becomes a point that people are interested in because they saw the price turn the last time it was there, basically.
Right.
Right? So prior support becoming future resistance is a game plan. You could short Facebook right there under that synopsis and just say, if it gets above this area, then that's where I'm wrong. And if it works and it rolls back over and goes to lows, then great. So there's your bonus.
I got it.
And then I also pointed out, and I just drew this in, it's kind of what we're seeing on the SPY. So the SPY is the market as a whole.
Okay.
Right? When everyone says the market is up, the market is down, this is what we use as a proxy. It's basically, it takes 500 of the largest well-known names in there, and it just puts them together.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a good barometer for what everything is doing, give or take. Is the market random?
No.
I saw you looking over there.
Is there an answer over there? There's not an answer over there. It's come all from out.
How do we know?
We went over this in the last video.
Yeah, but that was the last video. This is your test. We went over all of these in prior videos.
No, because we couldn't make a trend out of it. There wouldn't be the fat line curve.
No. one more try. Not random, because we can make trends from it.
That's what I mean. That's what I said.
You said because you can't make a trend from it.
No, let's replay that.
In editing,
Yeah.
go back. Right. So it's not normally distributed. It has fat tails.
Yeah.
Therefore, right?
It's not random.
It's not random. Define trends. So what is the classical definition of a trend? And we talked about this in the first and the second trends one.
The classical definition.
Yeah, like what if I said the stock is in an uptrend? What does that mean besides it's going up? I intentionally duplicated the same slide in both the first trends and the second trends.
All right.
Video. And it was a very clear-cut definition of a trend that, you really can't mistake.
I don't know.
It's -1. So the definition of an uptrend would be higher highs and higher lows. Definition of downtrend, lower highs and lower lows.
Okay.
Right? So a trend is when the highs and the lows are moving in the same direction. Because just saying the stock is going up is kind of irrespective of time frame. It's irrespective of, it could have been going down for the last 7 years, and today it's up a bit, and you can't say it's in an uptrend because it's going up, right? You have to say that the peaks are moving higher and the troughs are moving higher.
Okay.
So what is that 60% now?
What? I was.
Oh, you get your bonus point too. So
yeah, and I only had one. I only had one wrong.
There's only 4 questions. That's how math works.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So what are the 3 types of trends?
Uptrend, downtrend, sideways trend.
Right. Down, sideways. Yeah. Draw a trend line, just with your finger. How would you draw a trend line on this chart? What 2 points would you start to connect to draw a trend line out? And again, this is just like the support line. There's a lot of art to it.
Maybe these 2.
So here and here, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That could work. Now.
But it doesn't, so.
That's how I drew a trend line.
Okay.
Connecting remember to draw a trend line on something going up, you connect the troughs.
Right.
Right. Now, you could say, okay, well, for a brief period of time, that other one was the trend. But generally, when you're looking at a chart, you want to just draw out the one that fits the most amount of data, because right, you never know what's going to happen next. But what you could say is, now that I've got 3 points that connect this trend, I'm going to buy the next touch of this line. And then all you do is adjust this order every day to make sure it was in line with this trend line. Now this is moving average crossover, which we had so much fun with last time. So there are 2 trades, possibly 3, on this chart with a moving average crossover on Macy's here. So point out, I'm going to grab an arrow, where you would enter long and where you would enter short. Do it with your finger.
I would long there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would short. It looks like you could have shorted there and there. Maybe. But I was short there.
There. Okay. So then that's what I did. So bought the first green arrow, and then you're right, there was. And this was to talk about how, again, even on this chart where you would have made a bunch of money, you can't really tell, but the differences between these lines are $10, the difference between the horizontal lines there. So you would have bought Macy's at $20, you would have sold it at $30, then that little chop up and down would have chopped you in and out a bit. So you would have sold it, then bought it, and then sold it again. But you can see Macy's is like a $5 stock now. So you would have, even though you're only right 50% of the time, you still made a bunch of money on this. Okay, here's Facebook. So this is the 2 moving average crossover system.
Oh, goodness. They are.
So you're
no, that's when you would get out.
well, right. Whether you get out or whether you flip from longer to short is going to be entirely like. There's some people who buy and then sell if they only want to be long, and there's some people who buy and then short and then.
And you probably could have done it around here too, maybe.
Right in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I did. Right. I looked. You have to zoom in very close to see the lines at the beginning, but they didn't quite cross over. So there's only 2 valid entries on this. And again, this is something that will. These type of things that if you're interested in trade ideas, you can scan for, and you can say, I want to find out when these 2 moving averages are really close together, so they're about to cross, and then it will give you a big list, and then you can say, I want to trade this if this crosses, or this if this crosses.
That's exciting. I did well.
You did well.
I did really well. I only got 1 wrong.
That was it. There's your test. So.
And that was a bizarre question. Define trend line.
Define trend.
Up is up. Down is down. Sideways, sideways.
Not really. Again, my example of the stock's definitely doing this is every bounce an uptrend, right? Mm-hmm. Same with going up. If the stock's going up like this, is every drop a downtrend. Now, you're not wrong in saying it's like relative to your time frame.
Yeah.
But the overall trend has to have higher highs and higher lows. So if you zoom into that downtrend on a 1-minute basis, if it doesn't have lower highs and lower lows, it's just not a downtrend. So There you go. So you pass to live another day, and next week you're gonna be getting to it. So you ready?
I'm so ready.
You ready to be an addict, a degenerate gambler, sitting there trading all day? Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week where we'll start trading.